Roger, give me that gun, Ron. Right along that bag, baby. Aim hot. Clear hot.
Ladies, gents, Random Gary here. How's it going? AKA Gary Prout. I'm a Gallantry recipient from the British military, and I've been reacting to some other stories of remarkable gallantry throughout military from Five Eyes Nations kind of stuff. Tonight, I'm actually gonna give you a quick update. I'm not gonna be announcing which videos I'm gonna be doing because I keep getting hit with copyright. I've got a load of videos sat with copyright issues. I did publish one, but then the people who claimed the copyright were then putting ads on my video. I'd made like a massive video. Their content was 4 minutes on it, and it was like 25 minutes. I was like, I'm not making them money. I'm not here to make them money. I would have been quite happy if nobody had made money, but yeah. So if there is no monetary rights on it, I'm going to publish them, even if there's a claim on them. Tonight I'm going to be doing a Mad Jack Churchill. I know it sounds a bit strange calling somebody mad, but I think we'll all agree by the time we finish this that there was a couple of sandwiches short of this man's picnic. Let's have a look. Let's check them out. Oh, got the whiskey. Got the whiskey. For those of you slagging off me drinking American beer's all right, but some good whiskey tonight. Lagavulin.
Mad Jack, the man who fought with a longbow and a sword in World War II. John Malcolm Thorpe Fleming Churchill was born in Hong Kong.
If you're born with a name like that, you have to do something to be remembered, don't you? John Malcolm Thorpe Fleming Churchill. Churchill, God. Imagine trying to spell that as a 4-year-old. No chance.
And graduated from the Royal Military Academy at Sandhurst in 1926. He would later earn the nickname Mad Jack, or Fighting Jack, for fighting with a longbow, bagpipes, and a sword in World War II. Stationed at Burma with the Manchester Regiment in the British Army during peacetime made Mad Jack restless. It was during the interwar years, in the 30s, that he would master the bagpipes and ride his motorcycle across the entire Indian subcontinent. In 1936, after moving to England, Mad Jack left the army and became a model and a movie extra. He would also practice a new skill, archery, and became so good that he represented Great Britain at the World Archery Championships in 1939.
So I don't know if you'd know this, but I used to be a bit of an archer. I shot for Northern Ireland from the ages of 12 to 18. I shot for the junior team from 12, and then I broke through a couple of times on the senior team from the age of 14. I also captained the British recurve archery team for the Invictus Games held in London. Managed to come second in it, and so all of the tech you have, all of the new equipment you have, it makes it very easy to be really accurate with a new bow, with a new recurve bow, all composites, lots of technology. Old longbows, it is not the case. So each one of the arrows are made of wood, so you've got a slightly different bend to them, a spine to them. So whenever you release them, they don't always go in the same place. They can all have a different place of landing. It's made out of wood, you know, so any kind of heat change, you know, any kind of humidity, it has a huge impact again on how fast the limbs are, the bendy bits on it. There are so many variables with a longbow that make them inaccurate. Makes them fun, but accurate isn't a word I would use for a longbow.
When war arrived,
to go out hunting people with it, wow. That's bonkers in itself, never mind having a bagpipe and a sword, a broadsword.
Mad Jack returned to the British Army and the Manchester Regiment as an officer and was shipped off to France. During the Battle of France in 1940, Mad Jack led small raids on the enemy as the British Expeditionary Force was on the retreat from the Germans' relentless advance.
If you don't know, we were massively on the back foot. The expeditionary force got pushed all the way to the coast, and then some. If you've not seen the movie Dunkirk, it's worth a watch. It explains just how bad a position we Brits were in at the time, and we had to get back across the channel and set up our own coastal defences. That's how quick, how powerful, and how overwhelming the German push was at that time.
Using a longbow and a Scottish broadsword as his weapon of choice, he became the only soldier known to have felled an enemy with a longbow in the war when he landed a shot on the enemy Feldwebel with a barbed arrow. When asked why he did this, he replied, "Any officer who goes into action without his sword is improperly dressed." During the retreat to Dunkirk, Mad Jack was shot in the neck. When asked how it happened, he replied, "German machine gun," casually. He would also win the Military Cross for bravery after rescuing a wounded British officer from a German ambush. After Dunkirk...
For any of you who don't know, Military Cross is the third of Britain's awards for gallantry, so it's a Tier 3 award. It goes Victoria Cross, this is in the face of the enemy, so it goes Victoria Cross, then Conspicuous Gallantry Cross, and then Military Cross, so it's a very, very high, quite a prestigious award.
Mad Jack signed up for the Commandos, and when his training was complete, he was sent to Vagsø, Norway in 1941 as second in command of No. 3 Commando in...
I think I've read a book on this and I might have seen an image. I wonder if this image is going to come up of... I don't know if it's a manufactured image or if it's a true life image, but I have seen an image before, and it says it's Jack Churchill coming off a landing craft, sword in hand, moving his way up the beach.
Operation Archery. As he left the landing craft, Mad Jack played March of the Cameron Men on his bagpipes and then led his men ashore with his broadsword waving in the air. The German garrison at Vagsø was quickly defeated. Prisoners were taken and the artillery batteries captured, along with shipping destroyed on Malloy Island.
And for your history buffs out there, I think this might have been the first kind of brigade effort or the first commando effort onto a German pre-prepared position. I think it was. I can remember reading about a couple of those. My great uncle Bill was part of the commandos. He was also then part of the SBS, which was the special boat section, which were a small raiding section. I promised to do a talk about him. I think it's about time I got my stuff together and got talking about Bill. I've got a few videos of me having a chat with him. But yeah, I read this because I wanted to understand what Bill had done. He wasn't present for these, but it would just give me an idea of the people he was working with.
For this action, Mad Jack received his second military cross. In 1943, in Italy, Mad Jack led 2 Commando with the objective to destroy German artillery and observation posts in the town of Piglioletti. Even though the town was well defended and outnumbered, Mad Jack organized his men into 6 parallel columns, who instead of using stealth tactics all shouted "Commando!" The German defenders, as a result, were confused into thinking the shouting, which was coming from all directions in the darkness, was a much bigger force. In this skirmish, the 50 men of No. 2 Commando took 136 prisoners. Mad Jack, who was assisted by Corporal Raffel, took 42 German prisoners and captured a mortar crew using his broadsword. After marching the prisoners down to British lines, he said, "I maintain that as long as you tell a German loudly and clearly what to do, if you are senior to him, he will cry, 'Jawohl,' and get on with it enthusiastically and efficiently, whatever the situation." After losing the broadsword in hand-to-hand combat earlier, he later went to the town on his own to retrieve it. On the way, he met an American patrol going towards the enemy lines when they should have been going the other way, so he told them that he wouldn't come back for a bloody third time. In 1944, Mad Jack was in Yugoslavia leading British commandos and now Yugoslav partisans, attacking the vital hill called Point 622 on the island of Brac in the Adriatic Sea against the Germans. Heavy casualties were caused, and soon Jack was alone and out of ammo. With no hope left, Jack started playing songs on his bagpipes until he was knocked unconscious by a frag grenade and captured by the German defenders. He was first sent to Berlin and interrogated, as it was thought that because of his real name, he was a relative of Prime Minister Winston Churchill, and afterwards sent to Sachsenhausen concentration camp. But in September 1944, Mad Jack and an RAF officer...
Of course he did. He is not the type. I'm surprised he didn't fashion a sword out of a toothbrush or make a long bow out of a pen and a turkey's feather or something. You know, this is just one of these people who, outside of war, is the stranger who sits in the corner of the pub or builds a helicopter out of scrap metal. This is just one of these really eccentric people who we probably all laugh at, but in war, They are just absolutely in their element. I think these people are class. It's amazing.
Escaped the camp by crawling under barbed wire through an abandoned drain and set out to walk to the Baltic coast, but were then captured. Now sent to a new camp in Niederdorf, Austria, Mad Jack escaped again on April 1945, taking the opportunity to get away when the lighting system failed in the darkness of night. He walked 150 miles through the treacherous terrain of the Alps, surviving on vegetables that he had liberated from gardens. 8 days later, and with a sprained ankle, he found a U.S. armored column and was sent back to England. Jack was frustrated that the war in Europe was all but over, so made his way to the Pacific Campaign to join the battle against the Japanese in Burma. But by the time he arrived, the atomic bombs had been dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Mad Jack was so unhappy, he said, "If it wasn't for those damn Yanks, we could have kept the war going another 10 years. After the war, Mad Jack continued to seek danger, qualifying as a parachutist, then transferring to the Seaforth Highlanders, and later ending up in Palestine in 1948 as second in command of 1st Battalion.
This is freaky. He was in the commandos, so was my great uncle. He was in and around Italy in the early part of 44. My great uncle was taken prisoner of war in Rhodes in 1944, 14th of September 1944. By Italian troops and was taken to Italy. I've got pictures of him on the run in Italy, actually, whenever he escaped. He managed to make it back to the friendly troops as well, but he was on the run in Italy. And then my great uncle went to Palestine as part of the parachute regiment, because the Special Air Service got disbanded after the Second World War. And he went out there and he was part of the brigade commander's close protection team, the close protection group. They were actually driving around in old Nazi kind of staff vehicles. That's how they took their boss around. Their paths must have crossed, and sadly, because Uncle Bill's passed away, I'll probably never know, and I'll need to reach out to my cousins and ask them if Uncle Bill ever spoke about Mad Jack Churchill.
Battalion, the Highland Light Infantry. During an ambush on a Jewish medical convoy by Arab forces, Mad Jack, with only 12 men and in full military dress, marched under fire to the convoy to offer its evacuation. "I grinned like mad from side to side," he said afterwards, "as people are less likely to shoot at you if you smile at them." He would later coordinate the evacuation of 700 Jewish doctors, students, and patients from the hospital atop Jerusalem's Mount Scopus. Mad Jack would retire from the army in 1959 with 2 awards of
59. When did he join? Was it 26, 27? It said he joined. He passed through Sandhurst.
the Distinguished Service Order.
So the DSO is a bit of a strange award. It sits alongside a Tier 2 award. So it sits alongside the Conspicuous Gallantry Cross. DSOs are normally awarded for being in command and really effectively commanding troops that have a significant strategic impact on battle, if that makes sense. I don't think it's ever been awarded to another rank. It might have happened in the Second World War. If any of you history buffs are on there, so it's only been awarded to officers, as far as I'm aware. It was opened up to be awarded to other ranks from around about 93, I think it was, whenever we changed our honours and award system. But to this point, nobody has been awarded it. I know one gentleman who was awarded a DSO in Bar, and again, that was for 2 really significant pieces of command. One in Afghanistan, I think the other was in Iraq, and he had a special forces background, so yeah, an absolute ground hammer, as I would describe him, and somebody who held the highest regard from all of his soldiers, from private all the way up. So DSOs are very significant awards, normally for strategic leaders.
Subscribe for more World War II videos.
I think these guys here, the simple history, I think they're fantastic. At first, when I started off watching and I thought it's a cartoon, I'm not going to carry on with this, but actually they put some effort in. All of the weapons are period correct, the battle dress and everything. They spend their time, so fair play to them. Get a subscription in on there on them. Ladies, gents, I hope you liked the video tonight. Something a little bit fun, Mad Jack Churchill. I'm not going to tell you who's coming up next, because it will probably get a copyright strike, but I hope you're enjoying the content. Please leave a like. Please share it on social media, and I'll hit you up again very soon. See you in the comment section. Goodbye.